Welcome to the round 20 review as the Carlton Football Club lose to the Hawthorn Footy Club 9 goals 761 to 13 goals 785. A 24-point loss to the better side in the Hawthorn Hawks at the MCG last night in front of 51,000 people-ish. It was a pretty big week. It was a pretty long week. There were a lot of different storylines. We came off the win on Saturday knowing it was a short turnaround. The attention quickly turned to Jacob Wiedering for his 200th game. And then within 24 hours of that, we were notified that Sam Docherty would play his last game for the Carlton Football Club this week. And I liked it. I think we'd been speaking about it for the last few weeks. It was just it's been a dreadful season, and it was just getting uncomfortable, if I'm honest, to continue to fester in the disappointment of how the team's playing, and talking about performances. And every time we get to Sam Docherty, it's like, man, this guy's he transcends football, and he has, given his story. And I was just like, it was just hard to watch the rhetoric around him continue to go down the way it was going. And I'm sure it was like that for everyone who was even, criticizing him. I know I was for sure, because I didn't want him to go down kicking while people were sort of kicking him down. So I'm glad that they announced that the game would be his final game, just to let him, go out on a high and be celebrated. I think that was the most important part of the Sam Docherty sentiment this week, and it did give the fan base a bit of a boost, gave me a bit of a boost. I did not tip Carlton to win, but I did feel like no matter what, that the team would lift for him. Maybe we'll get to that in a minute. So there was that. Bit of feel good there, reminiscing around Sam Docherty and his time at the club. And I think the key moment in the story of this is, for me, the clip of him apologising to Patrick Cripps.
Sorry, mate, we don't get to share that moment together. We've been out this for a long time, man. And from crisis meeting walks on a Sunday to beers, and we've been having this solid goal for a very, very long time, man. And I love ya.
That just opened up a whole can of worms of thoughts for me around, you're just never guaranteed success. I'm sure both Sam Docherty and Patrick Cripps have done absolutely everything they could have to be as available as they possibly could have to perform to the best of their ability to hopefully lift up that premiership. And, they would have done a lot of planning and manifestation around winning the premiership. And there's that moment where the reality of, wow, it's not going to happen. We're not going to have that moment hits. And that sucks, because that's what you play sport for. And I think it also served as a reminder to the rest of the group, like, hey, you cannot take anything for granted. The 2023 run, which gets spoken about a lot, because that's the best thing we've seen in, the last decade. Actually, the last 30 years. You had to have taken your opportunities. You had to. You can't just expect you're going to be there year after year. And if anything, it makes what the Brisbane Lions have done and some of these top teams even more impressive. So there's that reminder. Don't go out with any regrets. But I don't think Sam Docherty goes out with many regrets, because I think he got the best out of himself, given the hand that he was dealt and what he was forced to deal with. And you got to remember, when he came back in 2022, he played every game that season. So he went from, we all shaved our heads for him, the campaign Do It for Doc, raised the awareness and the funds for the Peter Mac Foundation. Like, that was a very special time. That transcended footy. Everyone, we were all so mad about how 2021 had played out. And then all of a sudden this human being's life is at risk, who was the co-captain, and instantly it became about, okay, well, hang on, there's life here. It was actually one of the most connected I think I've felt the Carlton Football Club, period. It came from a tragedy, and we all kind of got behind the human being in Sam Docherty, and he played every game in 2022. So yeah, that was a tough one. And then I actually we've been speaking about this, if you watch the shows and if you watch the videos and if you're across the channel, I met Paul, Mr. Edwards, which he's just a fascinating story. So for those who aren't aware, Paul's from Hampshire in the UK. He was coming to Australia, planning this trip with his wife to see the British Lions and actually do a countrywide tour. And when he was researching Melbourne, knowing he was coming here, he was looking into the AFL and he was looking for the teams, and he did his research, and there was something about Carlton that just stuck with him, the rich history and the like, and also in recent times the drought, and how such a proud club has been in such lean times, and he was drawn to that. And then he did some more research online and looked at the fan content, because I think if you're in the UK, that's normal, fan channels. So he stumbled across this channel, found the passion, and fell in love with the Carlton Football Club. His first game that he watched was the elimination final last year, the one where we were down 10 goals to nothing. That was his first game of Carlton that he watched, and somehow he's found his way to us, to Carlton and here. And so got to take him to the Carlton Football Club. We had a coffee, and the club were really good. I reached out to a few of the people there, and it just took 10 minutes out of the day to take him around to the field. Took a photo out there on the actual ground, which was nice, and his face lit up. It's just an incredible story. And so in the midst of the game and how depressing the team actually looks out there and plays football, and all of the angst around who's staying and who's going, there's little sparks here and there that remind you that there is a full picture to the club and the footy, and that is the individual stories of human beings, a community, the spirit, that sort of thing. So that was nice. That was really cool, and something I am grateful to have been a part of. So then there was the game. He sat next to me. We're speaking before the game. He's like, "Oh, I wonder who's going to be the first Carlton player that kicks a goal that I get to watch." I'm like, "Oh, probably Charlie Curnow." Game starts. Look, the Hawks. I love the game, and the Hawks play the game with their skills and their toughness in such an impressive way. I don't know where it's going to lead them this season. I don't know where they'll finish up, because I think their best can match it with anyone. For some reason, I still think they've still got a little bit more to go. I don't know if maybe Will Day needs a little bit more time. I mean, Newcombe was subbed out as well, but I can't put my finger on it, but that's for another day. The way that they kick the football and the way that they spread and find space and create space is so impressive. And so when you're watching Carlton play, we kick and hope most of the time. Even the way the ball spins off the boot, like a drop punt from a Carlton player looks different to a drop punt from a Hawthorn player. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with anybody else? I found such a stark difference in the game style and the way that the game is played, and like the philosophy of the games last night, so different. And we've been speaking about it to death all year. So yeah, I think the moment where, there's always that moment early in a game where you're like, we're in for one of these nights. Didn't take long. Wiedering panic kick on his left out in the full. Ginnivan goal from the boundary line. You just can't be panic kicking in that situation, especially if you're a guy like Jacob Wiedering. So it started there. Mitch Lewis takes a great contested mark on Nick Haynes, kicks his goal. Jesse Motlop gets stunned in D50 by, I think it was Josh Ward, who kicks a goal. So pretty quickly it was evident that it was going to be a Hawthorn night. They did the job early. Durden was the one that actually kicked the first goal for Paul. A nice little passage of play there where running the length of the field, hits up Ashton Moyer, who made the kick look better than what it was. But, Durden ran hard, had the ball, received it back from Ashton and went back and slotted it. So that was Paul's first goal. And then, a series of events just continued to unfold. Cal Shadia takes maybe mark of the year on Sam Doherty and kicks a goal on the quarter time siren. At this point, it's 6 goals, 137 to 1 goal, 2-8. About 10, 15 minutes into the second quarter, pretty much when Will Day took his mark on Cripps, I thought, wow, it's going to get ugly. So I guess in that moment I had resigned myself to what the game was going to be. I was certain it was going to blow out to minimum 60, 70 points. Just the way that the game was unfolding, the way that Carlton were moving the ball compared to the clinical nature in the way Hawthorn moved the ball. I thought, well, over the course of the next half and 2.5 quarters, it's just going to continue to blow out. So it was pretty ominous. Got to halftime. Pommy was also with us as well. Pommy, Lek Dog, Ian, Mr. Horsburgh from Horizon Finance Group. We had a great crew. It was good. Pommy's just funny because he just continues to galvanize. And I at one point I just sat down. I'm just like, he's like, mate, you're just miserable. I'm like, yeah, I am. I just struggle to watch the team play. It for me, it's sapping. Maybe I need to stop going to games for the rest of the year. I don't know, but I just don't like the way that we play. It doesn't inspire me the way we play. I guess it also feels, going to the footy at this point feels, I'm grateful for it. Always take a moment to cherish the little interactions with Carlton people. Man, I remember when I wasn't here in the country and I missed the footy more than anything. I used to talk about it in my videos so much, how much it's my happy place, like the footy, just being there. And that's been tarnished a little bit. Not totally, because it's, you can't just put a blanket statement and say, oh, the footy's awful. But there are elements of the way I watch the game at the moment where it's crap. I don't have my family with me, my brother, my sister, none of them are with me. And it's like, whatever. It can be funny at times, but I think also knowing the sands of change are coming. So it's like you're just holding on for whatever, just got to get through. It's a real test of my supportership, and I can only assume this is the case for a lot of you as well. It's a real test of, why you latch onto it, why you care enough to watch it, because ultimately it's a bit of a waste of time when you really think about it. The young kids show their promise, and that's awesome. Harry O'Farrell was not only the best kid out there, he might have been the best player for Carlton out there. He was sensational. So, you take that, and that's awesome. And we move forward with that. There's a little sprinkling of hope there. Ashton Moyer, he's got something. He obviously didn't have the same impact this week as last week, but he's definitely got something, and something tends to happen when he's around the ball. And so, there's little moments there. But for the rest of them, you just feel, in a way, I feel for the players, but also in a way, it's like you had your opportunity in the pre-seasons that have gone past to get your skills right, to get all these things right. The right type of work wasn't done, and this is the end product. So you kind of reap what you sow, and also the whole vibe and the energy and being behind the team. You had it. 2023, you had it. Start of 24, you had it. Middle of 24, you had it. The ultimate support. It was almost too much support, you could argue. It was almost, people flying from countries to make sure that they could be there for finals. It was there. So you can't say that the support hasn't been there, because it was. It was just dropped. Whatever happened, and it's gone away. So there's that. And then that was it. Final siren goes. Sam Doherty, Jacob Wiedering get chaired off. We were talking around who would carry the guys off. Harry Mackay and Pitto chaired off Jacob Wiedering, Patrick Cripps, and Cade Simpson chaired off Sam Doherty, which I thought was a really nice touch. I didn't expect that. I just didn't know how it would play out. But it was really nice for Simo to have chaired off Doc, and just that little piece of love there for Doc and the Carlton Football Club, and tying it all in. And it was a... Did they disgrace him in his farewell game? No, they didn't. And that's ultimately, I think, what I wanted from the night. Don't let Doc go off the way that Mark Murphy went off, the way that Simo went off, the way that Andrew Walker and these types. These are the memories that I have. Just bad losses. So yeah, they didn't disgrace him. It was a 24-point game. It felt like more though. Stunned to know that we won the inside 50 count. Stunned. But it was what it was. And that was round 20. 4 more to go. Yeah. Just tick along. Yeah, as I said earlier, it's just that test of supportership is real. Like, why are you there? Because it's yeah. They've never experienced watching the Blues the way I have right now. Yeah, never experienced anything like it. But there will be better days. It will turn. We're just going through a period now that is familiar, unfortunately, but ultimately it will turn at some point, and there will be another moment in time in the future where we're excited about the prospects of the club and whether or not they can, win a flag. I don't know when that time will come. I don't know how long it'll take for that time to come back, but it will come. So, yeah, the end of a chapter, the end of Sam Doherty has come. It's here, and now we move forward, and we get to Optus Stadium next week and play against the Dockers. So that's that. What about you? How did you experience round 20? What was your sentiment and what was your thought about the entire week, about the game, about the celebration, about all of it? Share with us your piece of history in the comments below, and we will go from there. Go Blues.